Hi, everybody. Hello. Good afternoon. Sorry, taking care of stuff. George Kelly, we got some updates. There's movement. Looks like the jury might be hung. At least for now, they're in an impasse. So we're going to start there right now and see, looks like where we're at. The shitty thing is, I can only find K-Gun's feed. If you guys know of a feed that's being done through YouTube, let me know. This is where we're going to start.
Monday and start again Monday. That's another thing we can offer you. Sometimes that's an effective thing to do, which is just to take a break and come back and start fresh on another day.
For the record, this state opposes that, Your Honor. We're asking for the impasse instruction. I believe it's specifically designed for the situation. The jury specifically said they're at an impasse, and that covers all of the issues.
We're in agreement with your suggestion, Your Honor.
Okay, then let's bring in the jurors.
I can see you, Hella. Yes. I told you Twitch is the best way to do it, apparently. 2.0 doesn't lie. Can you send me more information about that? Like if there's a complaint, please. This is from you, but this is breaking news. So like I said, guys, thank you for joining us. There is news. I don't want to know what Twitch is for a horse owner. So, guys, there is news. George Kelly, the jury appears to be in an impasse. I think the judge is going to send him home for the week. No verdict. No, the verdict is they're in an impasse. He is going to send them home. So we'll see. George Kelly's the jury's going home. The jury's at an impasse. That's the breaking news right now, chat. And once it's done, we will get into Nicolae and get the rest of it.
Please rise. Sit anywhere you want, ladies and gentlemen. Please have a seat, everyone. All right, the records show the presence of all of the 8 active deliberating jurors, counsel, and defendant. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I've been reading your notes, discussing your notes, and content your notes with the lawyers. It's 2:35 today on a Friday. This case went to you for your deliberations, ladies and gentlemen, about 2:40 yesterday afternoon on Thursday. We took a while to get the evidence together, put it all together so we could have it all available to you in the jury room. And my understanding is you began your deliberations again this morning at 8:30. You had lunch. I don't know, did you work through lunch or did you just take a lunch break? Work through lunch. All right, that's good to know as well. And then your latest note came in at 1:50 p.m. about the situation. Again, just remind you, I know I've written it back in the note, do not advise me numerically of where you are voting. Okay, I had it stapled up and filed with the clerk, so I don't know where you are. Please don't do that again. That has an effect that I wish to avoid. Now, I have to tell you,
Who they told him.
They haven't worked at this long enough. This was a 4-week trial. A lot of evidence was presented, a lot of information, some of it very complex from a variety of different witnesses. I don't know how many witnesses we had testified, but quite a few, and they all gave important information. So very complex information. I understand the issues are complex. But to come back on a Friday at about 1:50, I don't think you've worked at this long enough. I am not trying to force or coerce a verdict. All right? That is not my intention. That's not my job, and that is not what I'm doing. But I do have a responsibility after a tremendous amount of work has been put in getting this trial to this place, where we are, by the lawyers, by the court, all the resources that have gone into it, and all the evidence that's been presented to make sure that you do your job, follow your oaths, and to work as hard and long as you possibly can to reach a verdict. Again, I'm not trying to force or coerce a verdict. And if there's things that you need, we can help you with, other information or evidence, that's what we're here to do. But in my opinion, which is the one that matters at this point, you have not worked at this long enough. So I'm going to send you back in a moment to continue the deliberations. Now, also, it's a Friday afternoon, and from my experience, from a lot of trials I've done, sometimes, this is something else for you to consider, sometimes it's good to take a break. I know everyone's prepared and eager to resolve this matter in this case, but another option would be recess for the day and come back Monday. Sometimes it's good to take a break, step away from it and come back as a group, again, 8 persons on Monday after a weekend, and start the deliberations again. So that's another option for you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to send you back in the jury room. I want you to keep deliberating, discuss it, keep an open mind, reevaluate your positions if you feel that's appropriate, and continue to work on this case. All right? If you decide you want to break for today, then come back on Monday as I've suggested, pass a note to the bailiff, and then we'll just excuse you for the day until you come back Monday at 8:30. But I want you to keep working. All right? Your excuse to continue deliberations. Thank you.
Please rise, please stand.
Well, that was a little weird. I don't know what they call it in Arizona, but the Allen charge, where you read to a jury, take a listen, listen to everybody carefully, take
Record will show the
carefully.
absence of the jurors.
Yeah, he didn't do an Allen charge. I think that's wrong.
Take me up on it, but if they do take me up on it, decide they're going to come back Monday, we'll let you know right away. Right? Otherwise, stand by. Recess.
All right, so we're gonna hang out here for a minute just in case. They're gonna keep cutting in or out. All right, well, I think we'll just hold that in the background for a minute. That is interesting. That is very interesting. So I'm surprised that he didn't give them an Allen charge already. If you guys don't understand what an Allen charge is, there's a case, Allen v. United States. It's from 1896. And the Supreme Court approved basically the default way to do jury instruction. And it worked. It's been around forever. And this is pretty much how it works everywhere. There are a bunch of states, though, that have rejected Allen charges. But they're overall there's actually a default that's been done for Allen charges that helps a lot. Yeah, guys, sorry. George Kelly, that broke. We were going to cover it first. We're going to get to Nicolae Miu in a second. So we'll just start with this. This is what's called an Allen charge, okay? And every state Jeez, I don't know what got in my throat there. But the way the Allen charge works is this is literally what it is, where the court says, you guys are at an impasse, so here's what you have to do. It's this is how when I have cases, This is how the court's done it. This is an important case. This trial has been expensive in time, effort, and money. Everybody's been here, and it's caused a lot of, a lot of strain to both. Well, and I've never heard the judge talk about emotional strain, and I would object if it's saying causing strain to the state, because I don't give a shit if it causes the state any strain emotionally, but it does cause strain to both the prosecution and the defense. If you fail to agree on a verdict, the case may have to be tried again. And obviously, another trial, there's no reason to believe that the case can be tried again by other side any better than what we've done here. You are the best jury in the best position to make a decision. No other jury, we can presume no other jury will do any better than you. We picked you guys because we determined you guys were the chosen people to hear this case. And, and this is, and here, there's no reason to believe the case would ever be submitted that more conscientious, more impartial, competent jury. If a bunch of you are in favor of a conviction, if you disagree, is your doubt reasonable? Or if you're on the other side, is your doubt reasonable? You have to figure out, are you reasonably holding out, or are you holding out because of some other impermissible reason? So, but if you honestly believe where you are, that's it. You don't have to move from there. And these are the things that it covers. Patty says right now they're hung. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Runkle. Oh, are you here? No. It's just the George Kelly trial. They came up real quick saying we've got something. And the jury said they're at an impasse. He didn't give them the island charge or anything like that. He said, look, go decide what you want to do. If you want to go home for the weekend, I'll let you go home. So they're figuring that out right now because it's, 3:30 on a Friday in Arizona and it's nice out. So we are going to move on to Nicolae Miu in the meantime. Did they send a note to the judge? Yeah, that they're stuck. But the judge is saying, we've done this for 4 weeks. And that was the judge's point right now. We've done this 4 freaking weeks. Get your ass back in there. We're not doing a hung jury right now. Now, I bet here's the thing. If we come back Monday and they go all day, at some point he's going to have to say, like, there's they're hung, but I don't know if this is going to get any better. So, Patty says, I'd love to know the numbers. It sounds like they might have accidentally disclosed which way it was leaning because you heard him. He's like, don't tell me again about that. So, all right. SP sellers, I mean, the only thing I would caution when you read some of these, like where it's been rejected, is that case you're going to look at, it's from 1959. There's some sort of jury instruction they give when they're in an impasse, and that wasn't it. That was pretty much he did it on his own. But every state has an instruction they give to jurors when they're in an impasse. So they have something, but it may not be called specifically an Allen charge. It may be called like a Johnson charge or a Guberman charge or whatever you want to call it. They have something, and that wasn't it. Mr. Sniper says, can the judge do a directed verdict? I mean, at this point, he could always theoretically say, you know what, I changed my mind. I'm taking this away from the jury. But not now. He's going to make, if he thinks the case is bunk and he thinks the state has not proven it, he's going to let the jury try to do the right thing. And if the jury comes to the same decision as him, not guilty, cool, then he doesn't have to do anything. It's kind of like that deal, like, if you're God, sometimes the best thing of all is that nobody knows you did it. Okay, well, the jury did it, and I didn't have to. If the jury's wrong, he'll force his hand. But for right now, there's no harm in letting the jury try. He feels that way. He would rather the jury get it right than him interfere, and they may actually be there. So we don't have a verdict yet, guys. All right, so we're going to move on to Nicolae Miu. We're going to move on to Nicolae Miu. We have the juror gave an interview to one of the local news affiliates.
An update tonight on the...
And remember, guys, this is the St. Paul news affiliate for Fox. Remember, St. Paul and Apple River are like right there. And Nicolae crossed state lines to go tubing. But here we go. Let's see what this juror does.
The Apple River stabbing trial. Nicolae Miu will be sentenced on July 31st for the stabbing death of Isaac Schumann and injuring 4 others. The court announcing the sentencing date earlier today, less than a week after Miu was convicted of first-degree reckless homicide. He was also convicted on charges for injuring A.J. Martin, Dante Carlson, Anthony Carlson, and Riley Madison. They all testified against Miu.
Oh my God! I feel even worse for her now. Not only is her name Riley, it's like people are gonna think Madison. I thought it was Madison, like Madison, Wisconsin, not Mattison, but Riley. Oh well.
Miu at the trial. It took a jury fewer than 7 hours of deliberation to find him guilty. Now, for the first time since the trial, we are learning more about how the jury reached its verdict.
Fox 9's Paul Bloom talked to 2 jurors who explained why they did not believe this was self-defense.
I was fearing for my life.
In many ways, Nicolae Miu's trial came down to witness credibility. What the hell is this problem, bro? And the nearly 3.5-minute cell phone video of the escalating encounter.
If there was no video, how hard would that have made your job? What would that...
Oh, these are phone interviews. Oh, this sucks. They didn't even have the balls to show their faces. Cowards.
case have looked like?
It would have made the jurors' job very hard. I'm so thankful that we had a video to kind of base our thoughts on it.
Fox 9 spoke to a pair of jurors after the panel of 12, 6 men and 6 women, found Miu guilty on half a dozen charges, including first-degree reckless homicide.
I feel that justice was served.
The jurors asked us to conceal their identities, wishing to remain anonymous while taking us inside the deliberation process. I spoke to one over the phone who concluded Miu could have avoided the whole thing.
I mean, it's not like anybody had a fence behind him or were holding him there. He could have went, even if it was the wrong direction, he could have walked away.
We felt like we put on a good defense.
That's interesting. Oh, he could have walked away into deeper water. Like, I hate that soft stand your ground. You don't have a duty to retreat, but if you exercise to utilize your legal rights, well, that makes you a bad man.
But in many ways, self-defense is a community standard, and it's very dependent upon which group of 12 people within the community you ask.
Or he could have walked right
Oh, shit, guys. Hold on. Sorry.
went back to his group.
Both jurors reasoned if
There you
Miu threw the first punch, as several witnesses testified, he could not then claim self-defense.
You went to Mr. Miu, correct?
You guys got it. You guys heard him talk. We'll fluff the pamps. You'll pamp a tamp.
Yeah, I went to the guy who was punching people first.
Correct. Again, based upon your memory that he pulled someone's hair and punched them from behind, correct?
Based on the memory that I know that he punched someone. Yes,
Okay.
It doesn't matter how he punched them. I know he punched them, and he shouldn't have.
Prosecutors included a charge of battery, arguing Miu struck Madison Cohen first, sparking the physical altercation.
Why was it important to start your kind of deliberations or conversations around the battery?
The Madison Cohen battery charge was a really big thing for the whole case because what that basically amounted to is, who threw the first punch? We had more people that said that he punched her.
While there was little support in the room for Miu's claim of self.
Wait. More people said it happened. That's all it takes? I mean, that's their assessment standard. That's their assessment standard. But if more people say it takes, you've got to. You guys can't hear it. I can't really do so much for boosting it. I don't know what to do, guys. But here's the thing. These guys all appeared to have been lying, and a bunch of them coerced their stories together. So, if it was like 5-on-1 and more people say it happened, that's good enough for you? They didn't say, oh wow, some of these people are lying. A bunch of them are lying. That is, yeah, Runkle, you're right. Juries, man. I know, but that's it's a way, guys. You know what though? That is a way they get to make assessments of credibility. Well, more people said it happened. That's very moronic, and I'd love to call that man an idiot to his face. But he's gonna say, "Hey, buddy, hey there, buddy. We tried real hard. Gosh darn it." But that, based on that standard, the majority's never wrong. That's a horrible fucking standard. Because what? All people can gang up on each other. I mean, if they're all bad, if it's 9, if it turns out it's 9 bad guys versus 1 good guy. Oh, well, the good guy's wrong. Why? Because all the there's just a bunch of them. There's too many of them. Bad people might not lie. Bad guy, good, people don't lie. Oh, wow. That is some brilliant. Yeah. And they didn't need the video then because it's not on video. That was just. Patty says, did he have an option to do a bench trial in Wisconsin for some reason? And I guess this is an alien concept to me because this doesn't happen. Remember what I said? Ohio's pretty base when it comes to criminal stuff. Wisconsin and many states, the prosecutors got to agree to a bench trial, which I think is absolute horseshit. It's the defendant's right to decide how he gets tried. Because here, you know what happens in Ohio? You can have a jury trial. You schedule a jury trial. The defendant wants a jury trial. The morning of, he could say, Your Honor, I want a bench trial. You know what happens? He gets a bench trial. Then we try it to the court. We could start off on day 1 saying, Judge, we want a bench trial, scheduled for a bench trial. Prosecutor could say, I don't like that. It's not their right. It's not their right. They don't get to. So I think it's kind of garbage. That's how that worked. I mean, but ultimately, these jurors making that decision, I don't want them to make that. That's a very stupid way to assess credibility. But that's a way the jury is allowed to assess credibility. Okay? And that's the thing, guys. As long as they haven't broken any rules, they're allowed to make their determinations and weigh credibility and find facts as long as it's allowed. Like I said, let's say Nicolae Miu was a black guy, and they can't be well, fuck him, he's black. As long as they didn't do things like that, they may have been stupid, but they're allowed to be stupid. And that's how sacrosanct we treat the deliberations of the verdict of a jury. Courts are super reluctant to overturn it. So, yeah. So, excited I'm saying Trago said this is all fine. I mean, yes. Well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing that Nick's attorneys could do here. The jury made a decision. It might be based on stupid reasoning, but it's based on reasoning. So the court's going to uphold it. I haven't watched this thing, but I don't think he said the jurors did good. I think the jurors made a decision, and it's not based on grounds you can overturn, so it has to stand. It has to stand. So let's go back to this.
Self-defense, I am told that 2 or 3 jurors pushed for a conviction on the intentional homicide charges.
But after looking at everything overall, I think it was just more of a freak thing. It was people in the moment. I don't think initially he had the thought of, I'm going to kill one of these boys or all these boys.
Do you think he hurt or helped his case by going on the stand?
I don't think he had much choice but to go on the stand. I think if he really was going to plead self-defense and have a case, I think he needed to take the stand to explain himself.
I lied about the knife.
Was that your knife?
No, it's good to see that. I know we were all in agreement. Yeah, if you're gonna do all this stuff and you're gonna stab up a bunch of people, you're gonna use deadly force, you better be able to explain it. Yeah, I mean you have to. You have to. But let's see what let's see what they looked at for the lies.
Knife.
Yes, it is. It was.
In this case, which I think is probably with a lot of cases, it actually hurt him. Just like I am saying, because the stories did not match. There were so many things that were not true that he said.
As to count one of the information, Isaac Schumann, the jury finds Nicolae Miu guilty of first-degree reckless homicide as submitted.
In the end, it took jurors less than 7 hours to wade through 8 days of testimony, nearly 50 witnesses, and some 30 pages of jury instructions to reach those unanimous verdicts convicting Miu. The now 54-year-old remains jailed in Hudson, Wisconsin, where the district attorney says he is facing up to 97 years in prison when he is sentenced at the end of July, a decision ultimately up to the trial judge. Paul Bloom, Fox 9.
Chat, that's how that goes. That's how that goes. Now, remember, even if they thought he hit Madison first, they thought he could have retreated. Okay, fine. I think those are all important. But I think the biggest problem for him would have been still he lied. He lied. Okay? He lied. What do you guys what do you mean what am I trolling you? I'm not muted. I'm talking, so I don't know what the deal is here. Can you guys not hear me? Are you guys listening to me or fucking with me? It's hard to tell half the time. Okay, well, it's hard to tell with you guys when you're jerking around. The lying was probably the bigger thing ultimately at the end of the day. And I said this. If he's lying, that's it. Okay, I was muted, thank you, but it's hard to tell. Didn't realize I was, but okay, whatever. We're moving on. It becomes a problem. Were you lying then? Were you lying now? Well, remember what I told you guys. When you hide evidence and destroy evidence, juries look at it. And who does that? Who throws away the weapon they used? And who goes and hides from the cops? Who lies about what they did and plays ignorant, like, who, me? Did I do that? No, sir, I would never do such a thing. Bad guys do that. People who are guilty do that. Now, in reality, is it people who are, concerned and scared and maybe just stupid do it? Sure. But remember what I told you. Jurors don't like stupid people doing this. They don't like bad people doing this. So either one of those is not a good look. Wrestler Town says, I don't think the lying mattered at this point, according to the more people said standard. Well, I think that he lied, so that gives those majority people more credibility. I just think if a majority says that they can't be wrong is a scary standard to have. It also creates a problem. I think that also gives, and I don't know. I'd like to argue he had no idea. He has no idea how he's actually articulating this in a way that makes sense. I'm trying to do something about that. I don't know why a no screen emoji would help you guys because you were just listening anyway. So, but whatever. Pampa tamp. Trust my eyes or trust teens. Well, here's the thing. It's still a question. It's still a question there about what happens. I mean, it's not the best look there. And I know that, like, and the thing is, like, I understand Bronco wants to say, oh, well, you should look at what he did, and what he did is all that matters. That's not all that matters. These jurors are going to look at it through the eyes of, remember, it's a reasonable person standard. Reasonable people don't go run and hide. They don't throw the weapon away and completely try to avoid being involved at all. They would run to the police and say, "Oh my God, thank God you're here. They almost tried to fucking kill me. Oh my God, it was so scary. Help me." That's what reasonable people do to them. Reasonable people don't go, "Oh shit," throw the knife and like, "Guys, shut the fuck up. Shut up. We're gonna float on by, and you're all gonna shut your fucking mouths, and we're just gonna act like nothing happened." Oh, was that? Oh, I don't know. I don't know where that guy went, officer. Somebody was stabbing people. Jeez, that sounds so scary. Golly gee, go somewhere else. I hope you find the bad man. That's basically what Nick Miu did, which Steven Seagal quality knife work. Bear in the Wood says the lie plays into that equation. Is lying along with the multiple people against him doomed him? I hate it, but it's how people justify bad decisions. Well, it's not ultimately, like I said, remember what I told you guys, when you have that spectrum of good or bad, you have that spectrum of good versus bad on a self-defense issue. You don't want to be in the gray area because the gray area leaves it up to the jury, and he did enough stuff that it leaves some ambiguity. Like, did he really use self-defense here? That's why you don't do all that stuff. Keeping your keeping the weapon. It's not like he lost it in the fight, but keeping the weapon, you know, going to the authorities, not hiding your identity, not lying, especially to the cops, like who you are. That right there completely boned him. Like you should be seen. Remember what I said this. You should be seen by the jury as a guy you did everything you could, and you've done everything good guys do. Derna says he ran away from the threat. He didn't go home. He was picked up at the river. Derna, if the police hadn't stopped him and picked him up, he would have gone home. I mean, he made no attempt to engage with the police, which that is a big problem. He didn't go run to the cops, say, "Oh my God, you're here, help me." If they wouldn't have figured out who he was, I'm sure Nicolae Miu would have just walked away. I'm sure he would have just let this go. Which that's really not a good look. And Fast Group says, have you ever been involved in a life or death experience? Yes, I have. And shit comes at you fast. But you're still held to a reasonable person standard. And it's one thing to say nobody in that room has ever had to face what he's faced, sure. But saying, y'all don't know what it's like. It's so hard. Cheer. You can't using the big pun defense. You just can't come in the run there and screaming, well, it's so hard. Yeah. That's not a defense. It's so hard. Y'all weren't there. Y'all just Monday morning quarterbacking. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because somebody has the Monday morning quarterback. That's the jury's job. They determine whether or not you're reasonable. Yeah, Runkle, I mean, if it's, I guarantee you, Nicolae Miu was not going to be like, oh, we went that away. Notice. He's like, oh, there was a stabbing. Oh my heavens! Like, that makes you look so fucking sketch. Patty says, I think it's time that professional jurors need to be watching behind closed doors. I absolutely not. I do not agree with that in any way. That's not, Patty, we may agree to disagree, but I do not want professional jurors. I want the community. You have the right to be tried by the people of your community. And this is just bad facts. Bad facts result in bad things happening. Bad facts result in bad verdicts. This is why you do, I've said this before. When you are trying a case, I picked up a case today. I got a client today. There's facts, and I don't know everything yet. I know what his wife has told me, and I'm working with that right now. And we're going to proceed on some things. Okay, cool. The way it's going to turn out at the end of the day is pretty simple. I have a set of facts that I'm operating on. Okay? I have a set of facts. And those facts are that, according to them, he didn't do anything. All right, and there's a justifiable explanation for everything. Cool. I'm totally down for that. But the other side of it is there might not be. I don't know. I don't know. And what am I going to have to do? Well, I'm going to have to look at the facts. And the facts may support what we want. That's the neat thing. The facts may support what we want. On the other side of it, the facts may suck. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they suck. And bad facts are what you have to work with. And you know what you do? You work with them. So why is that something you have to think about? Well, if the facts are bad, you do what you got to do. Ultimately. And obviously, if the facts are bad, there's only so much, Nick ran away. And is that something his attorneys are working with? Yep. And they worked with it the best they could. The problem is, it's still a bad fact. It's very much like if you give an attorney or you give an artist, a block of marble, he can make you Michelangelo's David. He could carve you a statue. Oh, we've got some movement in Kelly here. I hear some talking, but we'll leave it alone for right now. Getting back to this analogy, though, if I give a sculptor a block of marble, he can make a statue. If I give a sculptor a pile of dog turds, can he make a statue with it? Sure. It's still a big pile of dog turds, though. He could spray it with gold, do gold leafing all over it. It's still dog turds. And that's the problem. Nicolae Miu kind of gave his attorneys a big pile of shit and said, can you guys make me a statue? They made him a statue of dog turds. Sadly, the jury was looking at that and said, yeah, I don't want to buy that and put it in my front yard. It's a pile of dog turds. So you are really limited on what happens. Okay. Let me see here. Patty, oh, hold on. We're gonna go over to Kelly here.
So reports entered into evidence? If so, can they be shared with the jury?
They're
That's
not
the
in
way
evidence.
you folks read it? All right.
Were they?
Let me hear
I
from
think
the
they were.
state first.
Your Honor, I think we have to answer, they have all the evidence that's been admitted.
Yeah, they have what's there.
That's fair enough, Your Honor.
I think we can tell them that they can have additional testimony if they request it as well. There's an additional instruction that indicates that and a rule that allows it as well. If that would help them.
Our position would be to not suggest that.
We didn't have any reports that were admitted, right? From the sheriff's department.
That's correct.
Not police reports, Your Honor.
This is George Kelly, so we're waiting. Juror's asking a question about.
Obviously, that's because we can't admit them because they're hearsay.
And the police reports are hearsay. They cannot be admitted.
All right, so my response is, by rule, the admission of evidence stops at the close of the trial. No other evidence can be admitted. The SO reports were not admitted during trial, hence they are not in evidence and therefore cannot be shared with the jury. Any objection?
Yes, the state objects, Your Honor. It sounds like we could admit them, which we cannot. They're hearsay. And I think that improperly emphasizes
I actually agree.
they
That's
weren't admitted in. seems
they
to
can't
point
be
the finger at the
admitted.
state
Not
for
that they
admitting evidence,
didn't
which
want
we're
to.
not allowed to admit.
I actually agree with the state here.
I think how you crafted it is fine, but I understand the state's objection.
This is the instruction, the answer I'm going to give to the jury. And it's 3:15. We're in recess.
Oh, so he's just like he's like screw it, I'm sending it. Full send. So we're gonna get back to our discussion here. That was interesting. I'll keep that on in the background so I can hear. So KJ, they're asking for the police reports. They're not allowed to get them. Police reports are hearsay. They are not allowed to be admitted. But you can reference police reports while you're discussing stuff. Now, you guys did bring up some stuff here. And I want to go through these. Ongoing Hero for $2 says, the NPC speaks out about how it was self-defense. Yeah, I mean, remember though, it's your jury. It's your jury. Unhung Hero says also, oh, I'm going to come. Thank you. Dirk is saying, have you heard about the Ohio case that just happened with the boomer who shot the Uber driver? Yep. There's video of it too. Her dash cam caught it all. And I'm going to have to do a recorded video on that because YouTube will yeet it because he's literally on camera with his revolver. And then you hear him smoke her. So, yeah, that guy's screwed. He's screwed. It's gonna be the lady did nothing wrong, and he did a lot of things wrong. M169 is saying that's how Dane law worked. If you have more people speak, especially if their social status is higher, you win. Yes. And that's the problem. We're getting back to the things we were trying to avoid. It's almost like Sharia law. Yes, that is the law. Oh, well, she gets stoned. Wisconsin is becoming too soft. They're 10 ply. Yes. Hella says, I hate juries. I understand that. I understand that. And Patty's saying, I know the issue of professional jurors. Yeah, people live in communities, and yeah, they are to argue they're not worried about what decision they make when they go home. I mean, you can't argue that's not the case, especially in a situation like this. That jury's now going home to that community. So yeah, if the people find out they're on the jury, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're such a nice boy. Awesome job, bud." Where if they had done something, if they had said not guilty, yeah, who knows what could have happened? It's very possible. And Juror 13 saying, I still don't find anywhere in the law where your actions following a self-defense act impact the actual leading up to the violence. Your actions can be used to determine your mental state. Your actions before and after a situation can be used to determine your mental state. How you govern yourself is going to be assessed. The, that's, there's antebellum and then there's postbellum. There's the pre-fight and then the after-fight. Well, that's an issue. And to argue that's not how you would determine, I mean, think about it. That is a bit critical. What does somebody do? Well, innocent people don't run. Innocent people don't hide evidence. Innocent people might wait and run home to their own police station. Sure. Okay, fine, maybe. But at some point, you have to show a group of reasonable people I was reasonable. And reasonable people don't do all the things you just did, then I mean, that's a problem. Now, I will say in the Nicolae Miu case, I'm surprised some jurors are like, "Oh, that's intentional murder." Like the idea that there were 3 idiots on that jury who thought he was over there looking for a fight. That is scary. Neurotic is saying the defense was stellar. Yes, Sheriff Fossey and Nelson did a phenomenal job, but remember, they were sculpting a statue with dog turds. And they made a statue. They made a hell of a statue. They made a hell of a statue. But it was still dog turds. The jurors live in the community, and this is their Sandy Hook. I mean, I don't know. This would have gone away after a while. These things disappear with time. And you shouldn't have testified without an interpreter. Yeah. Nicolae Miu's been here long enough. He speaks with native fluency. There wasn't any of that issue. I mean, I think he may have hammed it up, and if I were their attorneys, I would have said, "Act like you just got off the boat." I don't understand your English. I just simple Romanian man, but remember, he speaks multiple languages, so it's gonna be tough to argue he's an idiot. And I don't think that would have gone well for the jury. Yeah, I mean, he speaks amazing English there. Ronnie says, I wouldn't budge if I was on a jury. Well, I'm glad you wouldn't. I'm glad you wouldn't. And I hope that people wouldn't, but that's sadly the issue there. Wait, did the Kelly verdict come in? Is that what we're talking about? No. It's just I've got it going in the background. They're asking questions now, and initially they're at an impasse, but it sounds like they're back to deliberating. So that's why I've got it down below running. It's just if that's the breaking case right now. So we'll see what happens. Juror 13 says, "What if I'm ignorant of law? Does me thinking I'm guilty actually make me guilty?" I mean, that's a great argument, but the idea is, did you not know you couldn't stab people? That's going to be a tough sell. And if you think you're guilty, it's going to be tough to convince other people that you're not. Because remember, this one's an assessment of reasonability. This is an objective assessment. It's an objective assessment of your subjective beliefs. The attackers can sue Miu. How about them apples? They aren't going to get a fucking thing. So they could sue him to score points, but he ain't going to have shit for him. And if I was Nicolae Miu and I got sent to prison and they sued me, I would Xerox a copy of my dick and the response filings. And actually here, M169's right. Think of Darrell Brooks' actions after he drove through the parade. Remember Darrell Brooks, like all these stories, I was being chased and help me. You didn't run to the cops? No, he just drove through the parade. He kept driving and hid. Now obviously Darrell took over his own case. He completely torpedoed it. But initially that was some of the arguments. Like he was like, gosh golly, help me. Well, we base the reality of your assessment and your claims based upon how you act before and after you do the action. He didn't ask for help and he didn't stop. Well, it wasn't a mistake. And M169 is a very, very, very good, I think, way to draw an example with an extremely outlandish thing. I think it makes it pretty obvious. Hella's saying, gotta run, maybe see you later, doing the Blandino trial. Yeah. Guys, Hella's heading off to do Camp Blandino. If you're not aware, he's a sovereign citizen, but he's generally not a dangerous one, but he's kind of a lovable idiot. Although he did turn a traffic ticket into a felony intimidation case. So he's not the smartest man in the world. That's a shame says, I hate that too. It's totally possible to be scared for your life in the moment and then immediately after it happens, start regretting and second guessing your choices and get scared of trouble. It's true, but it's one thing to get scared for a second, but to run and to do it the way he did it, I mean, part of the issue is I would argue this is where if you're going to use deadly force, you need to be mentally prepared for that aspect. And have a bit of a game plan. And, Bronca says being hard to convict. Being hard to convict is having a plan and having thought through it. That, like, I can't lie. Don't lie. Don't hide. Get to safety and reach the authorities. I mean, that's a separate thing. Like, if you're involved in a use of force and you don't want to be around the people you just used it on, fine. Run screaming like Kyle Rittenhouse, run screaming headlong towards the police, saying, help me, please help me. I was just involved in a use of force. Help me. These people are attacking me. Help. That's what you do. You don't just go, while the police cars are zooming by with their lights and sirens on. You don't want to do that. Alpha Fox saying, I think we have a professional juror to use an example of why it's a bad idea. Well, that's I'm sorry, we're not doing that. The state never proved intent with Miu. They don't. Well, So here's the deal. They did prove intent. Your intent can be inferred through your actions. You don't have to prove where he's like, ha 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 ha. I was gonna fuck these kids up. But you don't have to do that. Your intent can be reasonably inferred through your actions. You pull out a knife, you pull out Mr. Stabby, and you start stabbing people. Guess what? A jury can infer your intent was to start stabbing people. You know, like that one guy, he split him open. Yeah, Nicolae tickled his spleen with that knife. And guess what? The jury's allowed to infer, oh, wow, he intended to cause that guy serious harm. And we notice that he's kind of just stabbing into the group. Anybody who's touching him, he's stabbing in that general direction. Well, he kind of caught a couple of people and might not have exactly been the threat that second. Who knows? But it looks like he was just flailing the knife. Well, that looks a little reckless to them. That's how they came to that. I mean, the state did prove intent. It's that they didn't prove motive, and they don't have to prove motive. But I get what you're saying, Boosh. I get what you're saying. Yeah, the jury had a question about the sheriff's department reports. Yeah, I know. That's why I thought we switched over to it. Bella says they better find him not guilty. You know, I'd like to think they will, but remember what I said. I think hung jury's probably at least where we're at. And they're still going, chat. They are still, it's still going. So we're going to come back to that later. Bella says that poor man, he should have just kept his mouth closed after the attack. Yeah, but yeah. Well, Patty says they were drowning and punching him, so maybe he got a concussion. Sure, maybe he did get a concussion, but it's one thing to have a concussion where you're like, oh, I don't remember what happened. Okay, but you start lying and fabricating a whole new story. At some point, you don't have a concussion, and it doesn't look like he got one. It doesn't look like he suffered one. That's a shame. Says he went and got a sandwich and slippers and a sweater at that sweet, angelic little Mormon boy's house. Who are you? Is there a joke here I missed? Boosh is saying, do you think the judge allowing those BS lesser charges convicted Miu? I mean, would the jury have failed to find murder one in your opinion? Oh, I think so. That guy said it initially. It was 9-3 for it was 9-3 not guilty on the intentional murder. Yeah. But I mean, when you prove that force has been used, I mean, that's the thing. I think lesser included charges are bullshit. They shouldn't be tried like that. Like, if you want them, you should start the game with them. I don't like the idea the prosecutor gets to hedge his bets after the roulette wheel is spinning. But he does, and that's there. Now, do I argue that the defense should have an uncontested right to seek a lesser included offense because they didn't choose this. The prosecutor chose how to charge and how to go to trial. Okay, well, that's their call. The defense doesn't get to, so I think they should always be entitled to that right. And you know what that makes it harder on the state? So be it. I don't care if it's harder on the state. It should be really hard to send people to fucking prison. So yeah, we know the jury was 9-3. It sounds like based on that juror, like they were like, "There's no way in hell this was intentional homicide." And it sounds like they agreed to compromise on the reckless. I'm jealous of the ascot. Well, Kim does wear an ascot very, very well. I wonder if Mrs. Miu has a lawsuit against the tenant in some way. Nope, she doesn't. Nope. That will get tossed immediately. He caused me, and I'm just thinking, like, what would she argue? Like, intentional infliction of emotional distress. You little fucker set my husband in prison. Not gonna work. Yeah, there's not a whole lot there. But I get what you're saying. But yeah, she won't. That lawsuit will get laughed out of court, even if she tries. Yeah, when the cops show up, be like, they were drowning me. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Boosh is saying an inference is not proof. Yes, but your actions allow the jury to infer your mental state. If I go stab somebody to death and I go home and order a pizza and wait to tell the cops about it for a week, do you think I had a reason to stab that guy that's legally justified? That's the inference you're making. You're making an inference based off the evidence. So that's perfectly legal. You're making inferences of guilty, not guilty. That's how it works. Literally, that's what a jury is doing. It's finding the facts, and then it's applying the law based on those facts. Yeah, Eric's right. The jury got it wrong. Oh well. That's all you can do. Could the gang be charged with allegations of battery? Yeah, but Nicolae has to bring it unless he signed over like power of attorney to her. But that case isn't going to go anywhere because he was found to be the aggressor in a criminal court. Like that'll kill it. That'll kill it pretty much right away. Nicolae wanted to stab everyone equally. Soul Souffle says everyone who got stabbed walked the fuck into the knife. Yeah. I think so, but the jury disagrees. Hold on here. Check my DMs for what? Oh, well, we'll have to look at that in a second. It's a jury flip a coin. Yeah. Jury's a coin flip at the end of the day. I've said that too. It's a 50-50 shot. Either they agree with you or don't agree with you. It sucks. Remember, all it takes is a jury to go, yeah, nope, I don't buy it. Or, yeah, you know what? He's got something there. Oh, you're saying I got here late. Sorry to sit your interview. No, it's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. Ariel says, but he touched his knife. Yes, I agree. It was in Canada what we call manslaughter. And that's what I think it probably should have been more appropriately been is manslaughter. And the idea of manslaughter in fucking Wisconsin is like up to 60 years in prison. It's like, Jesus. Winter Soldier says, I thought she divorced him. She did, but he could still sign over power of attorney to he could sign power of attorney over to anyone and have the right to file. Pseudo Snark for $10. Thank you. Saying, dude from my high school just convicted voluntary manslaughter. Smashed his wife with a 27-pound flower pot, threw her in a ditch, and threw away the pot. Lied for half a day she was missing. Barely missed the murder conviction. Well, and I think this is a great example. This is a great example of it making inferences. Well, he smashed her head with a flower pot. Well, maybe it was self-defense. It could be. He threw away the pot. Okay. Then he lied about for half a day where she was. You see what I mean? The inferences build up that he did something illegal. And as far as him touching the knife, and I agree with Boosh, if it's flopping around my pocket, I might pat it to make sure it's there or touching it. But also, when his arms are hanging down, they're kind of down there by it. Yeah. And Eric says, I fear for my life, want to talk to my lawyer. Pretty much. Pretty much. Never a bad situation. Why even tell the cops at all? Well, if you don't tell them, like I said, you look like a bad guy. And they're going to treat you like a bad guy. You guys thought everybody had a post-stab pizza. Well, here's the thing. And I joke about that, but there was a case in Florida a couple years ago. In the aftermath of George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. And this is, hold on here. Let me bring it up. If I can, all right, let me see if I can bring this up. Is this going to load? All right, hold on here. Let me see if I can bring it up. Somebody just pop in? Oh, Lainey and Clyde. So you're going to need carbs after a knife fight. Yeah. Let me see if I can bring this up because this will be helpful to us. Ah, here we go. Here we go. This is, am I going to be able to show this in a way that works here? So there's a case, it's in Florida. It was Michael Dunn. It happened around the same time that George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin happened. And Angela Corey, the lady who prosecuted George Zimmerman, prosecuted George Zimmerman, prosecuted that case. In that case, the guy, Michael Dunn, let me see if I can bring him up. Let me see if I can show this. So he pulled up to a gas station or like a convenience store. And there was a car with some, youths in it and a bunch of hoodlums. They were white and black. And what did he do? Well, he claims that he asked them, hey, could you please turn down your music? He basically used the argument of, well, it was those, them kids, there was them, urban youths and their rap music was really loud. So what did he do? Well, he claims in response to that, one of them pulled up a gun and started pointing it at him. So he used his pistol and he shot the fucking car up in self-defense. And look, this is all fire from him. No guns were in the car. Now, he did this. Okay. He was out of town on a vacation for like a wedding. So he gets in the shooting, he gets in the car with his girlfriend, and he drove off. He drove back to the hotel. They ordered a pizza, and he hung out that night. And then later, when they made it home, he then contacts the police where he lived and admitted to doing it. You understand how that looks. I mean, that's the issue. The only call after he got into the shooting was ordering a pizza. I mean, that's a big fucking problem. That is a big, big problem. You know, he didn't stick around and he went and got a fucking pizza. Like, what do you want him to do? Like I said, your actions can be used to infer your state of mind. You want any pizza, but you haven't prepped any dough. Well, don't be all null about it. You can just eat pizza. Toilet Texter said, so if he hadn't told on himself, they were already they kind of were already working on who he was, so they were probably going to get. The way I understood it, the investigation likely would have determined who he was anyway. They were still trying to track it down. His biggest problem was talking to the cops. No, his biggest problem was being a fucking idiot and shooting this car full of kids. That was his problem. His problem also was, just fucking interacting. Like, oh, the music's loud. You know what you do? You go to your window and go, and you're like, oh, it's going to be loud. Fucking suck it up for 5 minutes. So that is the problem. Iman Reza says, I'm literally about to order pizza. Well, hey, it's Friday. It's a good time to order pizza. And Patty for $9.99, thank you, Patty, is saying, thanks, Sean. You're always educating and fun. Love this channel and chat. Oh, of course. Of course. We all can agree to disagree and do whatever. And, oh, there's a little doggo. Does he got, like, the seatbelt thing where he's, like, wired through the seat so he can't fly out? Because that's your dog looks like almost like a toy, though. Like a stuffed animal. Carissa's saying, or you drive away, go to another place. Yeah, but remember, if he had driven to the police department, well, that would have seemed like a guy's like, oh my God, I was at the gas station, I was accosted by these hoodlums, and one of the ruffians almost harassed me with a shotgun, and I said, have at thee, and I pulled out my gat and just blew him away. Okay, well, that's one way to tell the story, but he didn't tell the story like that. Or the Michael Dredgka case, where he starts talking to the police and he doesn't stop talking to the police about how he did all that stuff. It's like, you gotta, yeah. Don't squeeze the dog, Sean. It's not a toy. Drew M says, always ask yourself what Eazy-E would do. Well, Eazy-E did, I mean, Eazy-E did a lot of things. Are you really sure that's the standard you want to go off of? Because Eazy-E might have done some stuff on the down low, too, at times. Remember, he had HIV, so that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Eazy-E had AIDS, so there's a lot of things he did I wouldn't necessarily do. Easy is portrayed in his music. Well, yeah, that's fine. You got to be a little more clarifying when you say that. So yeah, guys, that's the problem, though. Getting back to Nicolae Miu, this is the problem with jurors. This is the problem with jurors. It sucks like that. It sucks like that, but that's what it do. It's what it do. Let's see here. Where is now? They did have some of the other. I know, for example, the family of Isaac Schulman came out and talked after the verdict was over, but that there wasn't much anything else that came out after that. That's just that's the nature of the things, chat. That is the nature of things, and George Kelly is still out right now. Yes, Easy robbed a bank and tried to sex up a tranny in his music. Don't do what he did. Yes, don't. Cedar Rose says, "Did you hear about a Florida man who robbed a Wendy's with an alligator?" I've heard some stories like that. That would be funny, throwing an alligator at people. Yeah, I would do what you wanted too, if it was a big enough alligator. Things you wouldn't necessarily do, like the things necessary for a man to contract HIV, which is a myth. You're saying men can't contract HIV, or that Easy had it? I mean, because I'm a little confused with that one. That's a shame. That's a lie about Easy. He admitted it in a fucking press conference. I mean, there's no that's the thing. He got diagnosed with it at the hospital. What are we coping here? Oh, well, we're talking about Easy. Yeah, sorry. Sounds like he may have done some stuff. Yeah, between Eazy-E's AIDS and Ice Cube's rubber fake AK-47, NWA is pretty zesty. That a virus we call HIV causes the disease we call AIDS, but that might be a take too spicy for YouTube. No, I don't think so. I think we'll be fine to say that. Yes, Eazy-E was gay. Yes, NWA was felted. Yes, they self-felted. And Debbie J for 1999. Thank you, Debbie. Is saying we'll be covering the Karen Reed case. I will be covering it, like we'll be talking about what goes on, but I'm not going to be able to do that live. Karen Reed is going to be massive in scale, but I will be able to talk about it. If that's what you're asking, that's kind of my goal, is to cover it and put us in a position where we can talk about it, because I do think there's going to be a lot going on there. And I do think that there's it's there's a lot there. I mean, and I think Andrea Burkhardt is right. This is really going to come down to, what does the coroner's report say? Because we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that yet. And do I think on its face that she's innocent? I mean, she's innocent until proven guilty. But do I think there's a lot there that, I mean, like I said, guys, part of my problem is I don't, and I'm willing to admit it's my bias, is Turtle Boy's involved in it. And Turtle Boy is an absolute tool. And he says so much crazy shit, you can't trust him. So I'm automatically on the side of I can't trust it. So I'm willing to admit that's my fault. I'm willing to admit that's my fault. That's something I have never been willing to accept. And it is what it is. I'm willing to admit that as a human being. That is one of my faults, that I can't. I'm already biased, but I will be watching it. And we'll watch it together. We'll watch we'll watch it as it goes along. And hopefully we find some answers. But I think it really is going to come down to the coroner's report. I just think for right now, it's not looking good for her. I just don't think it's good for her. But if she can pull it off, good for her. Good for her. I just like I said, guys, I don't see it. And just because I don't see it doesn't mean it's wrong. That does not mean it's wrong. I don't see it. And hold on here. Yeah, John O'Keefe's coroner's report, yes. So that is I'll read if you guys weren't aware, apparently somebody outside the Trump trial set themselves on fire, which I have a feeling the guy, if you hate the orange man that bad, I'll show you by dousing yourself in lighter fluid and turning orange yourself. Also, guys, I just wanted to explain this. Does this show up well? Oh, it does work. Okay, good. So what I was trying to show earlier is you have good use of self-defense and bad uses of self-defense. And if you're really on the good side, cool. But for Nicolae Miu, I mean, look, he was in that gray area, and that gray area is very questionable. Always do whatever you can to stay on the green side when it comes to, when a jury has to assess you. Now, let me see here if there is, let me see if there is something out here. Oh. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see if there's footage of this guy lighting himself on fire, because this will be interesting. Okay, the guy lit himself on fire is a guy named Max Azzarello. Okay, so he's saying this extreme act of protest is to draw attention to an urgent and important discovery. That we are victims of totalitarian con, and our government, along with many of their allies, is about to hit us with an apocalyptic fascist world coup. There are many victims of totalitarian con. Is there an actual... Oh, he actually has a whole... Do you guys have a link to this? Because I'll read it if we have links. Let's see here. Yeah, if you guys have it, email it to me. Send me the link. Send it. Link it. Locals, wherever you guys have it, send it to me. I want it. We'll look at it. And then I hope there's a footage, but Twitter doesn't seem to have it, which is a little sad. That Twitter does not... Okay, this guy did like a little TikTok of himself. We are gonna watch. This is... Oh, wow. This is interesting. Yeah, but Brimstone sent it to me, man. This is apparently him earlier.
Start a fucking revolution.
Start a fucking revolution. Start a fucking revolution. You've got nothing to lose. Start
I mean, it's catchy. It's catchy. You gotta like it. Oh, he's in critical condition. He's not dead. Wow. Well, just cause. Thank you. And Kitchen Knife Rescue. This has been a member for 4 months. Half, one of two. There's an interesting case in Oklahoma. Send it on Discord. Okay, thank you guys. Turn on CNN right now. What? Let's see here. What? But we already revolve around the sun. What's on CNN? What do you guys want me to see? Caravia says, I'm in. Where do I sign up? Well, if you're talking about locals, that's at potentiallycriminal.locals.com. If you'd like to sign up, it's free to sign up and become a member. Cost you nothing. And if you want full access, including to the live shows, like we did one last night that we do every Thursday after the YouTube show, and then our weekly Monday night hangout, you can use a promo code SWITCHY for 1 month free access. Maybe CNN workers are self-immolating. Well, I hope so. You can't have too many of them. Okay, let's see what we got here. Did the guy just like walk up to reporters and be like, okay, so there's like there's just a still picture, guys. This is the guy attempting to fricassee himself outside of the trial. I mean, he goes full on and engulfed, so good for him. He's trying hard. You gotta go for the high score when you do this. Let me see here if you guys have. No, Brimstone, if you have it, I don't see it up there yet. Let me see what else. Try another link here. Yeah, guys, lighting himself on fire. It's hard to tell. The video is just kind of like you can see him for like a second. There's not really much there. And then let's see what this is. Somebody sent me another link here I'm taking a look at. And see, I'll double check my email in case you guys sent me something. All right, so here's what he wrote in a Substack. Oh, he's got his own Substack? Okay, Substack M. Crosby. So he wrote a Substack. I'm sure Substack's like, well, this is one way to get free stuff and people to look. Okay. This guy seems crazy. So here is his Substack. Oh, we have a George Kelly rumbling, I hear. Well, we're going to hold off on a second until we actually they come back. But so we start off with nothing sus at all. That I've done research since Peter Thiel started to run a bank in March. And now I know the secrets of the world. Cheers to America's first coup and second revolution. Okay. Oh, we're back. We're back. George Kelly, guys. I wonder if they got a verdict.
All right, we're back on the record. In State versus Kelly, the records show the presence of all counsel and the defendant. It's 4 p.m. I marked this latest note from the jurors, 4 p.m. The note says, jurors would like to be dismissed and to return Monday at 8:30 a.m. Any objections?
No. No, Your Honor.
So to write, you are dismissed.
Well, that takes care of that. Go home.
Response I wrote as follows. You are dismissed. Please return to the jury deliberation room Monday at 8:30 a.m. to continue your deliberations. Remember and comply with the admonition of the court.
That works for us, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Sign it. Hand it to the bailiff to be delivered to the clerk. And we're adjourned until 8:30 a.m. Monday morning. Have a good weekend.
Your Honor, can I address one issue first? We've requested a copy of the jobs recordings of the trial in this case. And pursuant to Administrative Order Number 2007-015, it indicates that if a party requests a copy of the jobs recordings, they're entitled to them. And I was told by the clerk of court that the court was indicating I'm not entitled to them. So I'm just trying to sort that out.
I understand. It's been brought to my attention. Put your request in writing, file it with the clerk in connection with this case, and the court will give you a ruling.
Okay.
We're adjourned for tonight.
Rise, por favor.
What's a jazz recording? No, Javs, Javs. Javs is a company that's also a recording system, that's software and all the things like we've been watching the past couple of days, those 4 camera views. That's the Javs recording system. That is a very common court recording system across America. Like a lot of courts here in Ohio use Javs. So that's what it's called. For some reason, they want a copy of the recordings and they weren't able to be given them, which sounds really retarded, but somebody in the court who probably didn't know any better says, we can't just give them to you. So, janky audio-visual system. Yeah, for some places. So, that's what that was all about. So, no big deal. They're done for the day. So, we won't worry about that anymore. So, I'm taking the Chiron down. But let's get back to the guy who lit himself on fire. So cheers to America's first military coup to its second revolution. Okay. 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 So what happens? Well, he now does I've set myself on fire. I wonder if we can get an interview with him at some point. That would be funny. All right, guys, here we go. My name is Max Azzarello. Is this not showing up here? Why is this not? Oh, here we go. Now you guys are here with me. They start Monday at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, so 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And hold on here. So even when he lives, he's probably blind and deaf now. Not really gonna be much of an interview. Well, him screaming in pain, going ah the whole time, like it hurts. And that's what it's probably gonna get. I am an investigative researcher who has set himself on fire outside of the Trump trial in Manhattan. Investigative researcher. Okay. This extreme act of protest is draw attention to urgent and important discovery. We are victims of a totalitarian con, and our government, along with many others, is about to hit us with an apocalyptic fascist world coup. I mean, you're not. But is he really wrong? I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily see any lies detected there. Just saying. And zero skills is like, it's like just saying. I don't necessarily disagree. That's why we're not laughing. Yeah, yes, about to. It's news yesterday. And Ken's like, based. Alphabox says, what does he call fascism? Well, we'll see. I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out together, chat. Okay. So these claims sound like fantastical conspiracy theory, but they are not. They are proof of conspiracy. Well, these claims are proof of conspiracy. That's not how that works, but okay. If you investigate this amount of research, you will prove them too. If you learn a great deal about Ponzi schemes, you'll discover our life is a lie. If you follow the story and links below, you will discover the rotten truth of post-truth America. You will learn the scariest and stupidest story in world history, and you will realize we're all in a desperate state of emergency. Okay. To my friends and family, witnesses, and first responders, I deeply apologize for inflicting this pain upon you. But I assure you it's a drop in a bucket compared to what our government intends to inflict. Because these words are true, this is an act of revolution. Very much a Voltaire argument statement there. Last March, a billionaire named Peter Thiel started a bank run on Silicon Valley Bank. I knew enough about Thiel that I found this incredibly sus. My hunch was that it was intentional, though I couldn't fathom why. I began investigating online and quickly found cryptocurrency's fingerprints all over it. The bank run occurred just days before Silvergate Bank, which catered almost exclusively to crypto companies, collapsed. Well, it did. Meanwhile, several crypto cheerleaders were all over financial media warning of a regional banking crisis, and nobody was addressing the clear crypto connections. I dug deep into the financials of Thiel's venture capital firm Founders Fund, and eventually uncovered the following, all proven many times over. Cryptocurrency is our first planetary multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. Well, there's a lot of people that already think that. That's not Like, you think that's unique? Do you think you're the first one to say that? Come on, man. Come on. The March 23 bank failures were all intentional. Well, I have no doubt about that. Economic warfare exists. Although he's claiming the banks were used to move out stolen Ponzi money, this signal's no longer dumping cash to keep crypto afloat, and then it will go insolvent. Okay, well, when the Ponzi scheme goes insolvent, it will take down half the stock market with it. I mean, I don't disagree if crypto shits the bed. Yeah, the stock market's going to crash, but eh. The Ponzi scheme is so large that it created global inflation. I don't think you can. Financial policies of the central banks caused inflation. Crypto didn't cause it. I disagree. Crypto caused inflation. So, as it turns out, the elites are awash in Ponzi schemes. Okay, that part I would agree with. Stanford StartXCom.com investment fund and Jeffrey Epstein's program for evolutionary dynamics he ran at Harvard are both fake science Ponzi factories schools invested billions in. Yep. Funneling trillions of dollars in stolen cash from the stock market created the largest stock market anomaly in history. The stock chart signature of a Ponzi scheme is a massive increase while they stack cash up, then a massive fall. This chart shape appeared in all the companies listed above. In order to explain the massive anomaly, our criminal government unleashed COVID on the world and told us these were the stay-at-home stocks. Yeah. Okay. Ponzi schemes are vicious beasts. Crypto is their largest Ponzi scheme by orders of magnitude. Can be best described as an economic doomsday device. You're kind of losing me here, champ. You're losing me here. You're losing me here. You're losing me. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, crypto being a Ponzi scheme is not a secret. Yeah, I agree. This guy was panicking. The economy is way more fake than he realized. Yeah, I think that's a thing. It's like the economy's fake. No shit. Like, thank you. I didn't need you to light yourself on fire for this. Only the government can cause inflation. No, I would argue that there could be inflation to argue that the private sector couldn't have a hand in it or cause an issue. Because if you have like a commodity based market, you could have inflation. You can inflate prices. It's really hard to do from the private side. But yes, for the government, they just, click and they make inflation. So, yeah. Manifestos are fun. Yes. Crypto probably took a ton of fiat out of circulation. Yes, it did. It's tied up a ton of fucking fiat. Do you really read this slowly? No, I don't, but if I read it as fast as I did, we would have been done now. So, no, I don't go, yeah, do you really read this slowly? No. No, I read very fast, but it's hard. If I just sit here, if we just go, okay, everybody read. All right, chat, sit here and read. Let me know when you're ready. That wouldn't be as fun. Michelle said I was freaked out. No, I promise you I can read faster. Yes, imagine Sean in court. Yes, hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I am attorney for defendant. He can't read unless he's saying it out loud. Let's keep going here, guys, though. The U.S. government is fully involved in this con, which illustrates bipartisan support. I'll note that every participant in the Clinton Global Initiative has ties to crypto, while the biggest tech VCs who participated in are Trump associates Kushner and Scaramucci. Is Scaramucci, is he really he's not a venture capitalist, is he? I didn't know he's VC. To better understand our former government, I'll point out one of the most standalone evidence I found. Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton's DNC speech in 1988, where he nominated Mike Dukakis for president against George Bush. The speech is a vile, mean-spirited roast of Dukakis that makes no sense whatsoever. For Clinton to ruthlessly attack a member of his own party should have been political suicide, and he repeatedly mocks Michael Dukakis' noble and earnest qualities. Are we fucking serious? You've already lost me. Like, that Mike Dukakis, he was a good guy, chat. If you guys don't know who Mike Dukakis is, he ran for president. He's the guy who got filmed sitting in the tank in 1992. This is his this is Mike Dukakis if you don't remember him or you haven't seen him. He did this at a General Dynamics factory with the tanks. And this is his famous moment. When people think of Mike Dukakis, he got wrecked. I'm sorry, 88, not 92. Yeah, he got fucking annihilated by HW. So and this was actually done in Detroit at the Sterling Heights tank factory, which if you guys didn't know, at the time there were 2 tank factories in America. There was the US tank factory up in Detroit at the Detroit Arsenal. Then there was the one in Lima, Ohio. The one in Detroit has since closed. They do all their research and development there. And the only plant left is down in Ohio. So, no, a taint factory, no. Tank. So, notably, actor Rob Lowe, who was supporting Dukakis, was the victim of a teen sex blackmail operation at the DNC that year. What the fuck? Since we know Clinton is an associate of Jeffrey Epstein, we suddenly can make perfect sense of this nonsensical speech by applying this lens. Clinton is a cocky mob boss who blackmailed Dukakis. Dukakis does a job to help the public. He teases out the future public revelation that Kitty Dukakis, Mike Dukakis' wife, did drink rubbing alcohol, which is true. And offers a strange anecdote about the crack epidemic that reveals he's a drug runner. Well, that part's true. Bill Clinton was involved in the drug running out of Mena, Arkansas. That's where all the coke came in. What does a revelation tell us? The government is conning us completely. I didn't need your help for that, buddy. I kind of figured that out a long time ago. That Clinton was secretly on former CIA Director George H.W. Bush's side, which it's true because George H.W. Bush is a former director of the CIA. And that the Republican-Democrat division has been entirely manufactured ever since. Not necessarily disagreeing there. Clinton is with Bush, Gore is with Bush, Trump is with Hillary, and so on. When they present themselves in public, they're acting as characters against one another, practicing kayfabe as wrestlers do. Once again, you lit yourself on fire to tell me something I already know, homie. Okay, thanks. We already knew this. Yep, Barry Seals Airport. Yep. You guys haven't seen that American-made movie with Tom Cruise where he's trafficking coke? That's how it all went down, and Bill Clinton got him let go. Yes, Michelle says they couldn't handle the red pill. Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. And yeah, I agree. You set yourself on fire for this? Keopath says, well, let me tell you something, Senator. This guy couldn't have just made a YouTube video. Oh my god. Brento says NPC people don't know this, Sean. Yeah, well, there's other ways you know, this is like this is very much like the close your eyes, give me your hand, darling. Do you feel my heart beating? Do you understand? If we're talking about on the path of getting you to like wanting to load up a Ryder truck full of explosives, this is like step 1 of 1,000. So this isn't the time to light yourself on fire. Like this guy read step 1 and thought the world was over, and it's like, Hobie, I got a deeper and darker hole for you to travel down. His flame wasn't well, oh god, I didn't even think about that. Is this burning an eternal flame? Yeah, there was no well, it was sunny, but there was no sunshine for the rain. Don't pull a Kurt. I think I sing better than Kurt. Yes, there was thermite paint. Thermite paint in the WWE. Yes, he lit himself on fire, and today's the anniversary of Waco. But I don't think we're going to get there. Why no Bane voice? Yes. They are practicing kayfabe as wrestlers do. For you, I'm a big guy. Yes, I'm burning. I burn for you, Gotham City. It's also the anniversary of Oklahoma City. Yes, it is. It's also the anniversary of what happened in Lexington and Concord, where we started our heritage of murdering government officials. So, good news there. Good stuff, chat. We have a secret kleptocracy. Kleptocracy, people whose government officials who steal from us. Yep. Both parties are run by financial criminals. Yep. They divide the public and blame each other. Yep. Since it is fully parasitic, a secret kleptocracy is an incredibly unstable form of government left to its own devices. It can lead to fascism or a failed state. Okay. One of the key findings at Harvard University is one of the biggest organized crime fronts in this history. It's how they churn out billionaires. As it turns out, dozens of the writers of The Simpsons went to Harvard. So I asked myself the questions: if The Simpsons served organized crime, how would they do it? I mean, I'm all down for a good Simpsons. You guys know me. I'm down for a Simpsons analogy. Let's see. Well, it offers a dysfunctional family suffering from moral decay, a community incapable of solving its problems, a worker drone who slaves away for an evil billionaire, cathartic class for our poor collective circumstances. And see, here's the problem. That's like The Simpsons now, but when you watch The Simpsons originally, yeah, they were a dysfunctional family, but they were actually fairly moral people. At the end of the episodes, you'd find out Homer and Marge, Bart and Lisa going through their, the first couple seasons were very much a kind of like watching Full House. They were families working through their problems. working through the problems of the late 80s into the early 90s, navigating through it. So I would argue they weren't suffering from moral decay. They were actually making their way through it and staying together as a family. And the community couldn't solve its problems. So, I mean, it routinely did band together and solve its problems. Now, we saw the community would try, Springfield would do stupid things to solve its problems, but eventually it did solve its problems. 1 through 8 is gold, and they aren't even dysfunctional. Oh, I'd say there's some dysfunction there. Yeah, it's just like Roseanne. Yeah, the Simpsons owned a fucking house. Yes. Yeah, Homer wasn't always jerk-ass Homer, is the big thing. Homer was the first couple seasons of The Simpsons, Homer Simpson is actually a good man. He's trying to do the right things. He's just a bit of a doofus when it comes to doing it. I think it's also a fucking cartoon. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. If you write a sitcom or a TV show and it's serious and it's a cartoon, it's still portraying points. Yeah, Marge and Homer were trying to do their best, and Bart was misunderstood. Yeah, but Bart also had a bit of a yeah. So, and I don't think Homer's poorly paid at the nuclear power plant. They just wasted money. Well, the problem is, I think they were trying to come up with some funny thing. So, oh, he works at the nuclear power plant. I don't yes, if you're a real nuclear safety technician, I'm assuming you're making good money. But I think it was meant to see he's got like an average middle class job, which in reality that's probably far from average middle class. Yeah, and it's social commentary. It's entirely social commentary. Bush is saying, okay, the point is outlandish things can occur. Yes. Like, yes, and Homer also fell down Springfield Gorge twice after he jumped and then the helicopter dropped him. And then he fell out of the back of the ambulance down Springfield Gorge. Those are devices to get across the point. It shouldn't be taken as real. No. The cell itself isn't real, but the feelings and the stories and the narratives they're pushing across are meant to be real. That these people are, at the end of the day, good-hearted, good, God-fearing people. And that they're trying to do right by each other. That's what's the point of it. Like, it's like Roseanne. That the Connors aren't real. But what they're going through is the stuff we're all going through. And it's how you go through it and dealing with it. That's the point. Maggie lay there like a slug. Well, yeah, Maggie was fucking looseless. And he showed up the day the plant opened. Yes, he did. Homer would have choked Eric Garner of a Lucy cigarette. Family Guy's fucking garbage. Family Guy wishes it was The Simpsons. So there are notable now he does get it. There are notable specifics that relates to this research. In Marge versus the Monorail, one of the best episodes with Phil Hartman in it. The townsfolk are too oafish and divided to invest in the town's needs, fixing Main Street, and fall for the charms of a dazzling showman with a bogus monorail scheme. We know the show is closely linked to an organization that invested millions of dollars, so it becomes damning. In Lisa the Iconoclast, Lisa discovers the town founder was a secret con artist. Jebediah Springfield tried to kill George Washington. And realizing it was a discovery, she tried to get the town to tell everybody for Founders Day, but she changes her mind. And she does. She says Jebediah Springfield was a great man. And it's funny because they almost kill her with a sniper. And that's the funny part. He talks about this. Ultimately, she realizes the town is so far gone. No, but she doesn't want to destroy. Sometimes the man is. Sometimes we do have our foundations. We don't destroy them. Be led by con artists. She keeps a secret to herself. Well, that's also because Mayor Quimby was going to have the sniper killer. And I've been here, like Lisa, desperately trying to get friends and family and the public to believe the proof of totalitarian con I'm trying to show them. And they're turned away with hostility, apathy, disbelief, and partisanship. If you see yourself as Lisa, you're doing it wrong. Lisa's meant to be fucking insufferable. And so we realize the truth of The Simpsons. Our elites are telling us that our eroding circumstances are our fault. We can't do anything about it while they steal the American dream. Okay. So that was it. Lastly, we string together major discoveries together. Crypto is an economic doomsday device. The Simpsons exist to brainwash us. Okay, well, consider America in 88. Institutions like healthcare and universities have become parasitic in their skyrocketing prices. I mean, maybe in 1988, but that's... The news media tells us to be angry and tribalized. Daytime television warns us of moral decay. Local news tells us to fear our neighbors. Simpson tells us we're too ocean and divided to save the American dream. Seinfeld tells us to celebrate the assholes and be irritated by all the normal people around us. Reality TV tells us life is to be filled with hedonism and strife. Social media owned by crypto criminals like Zuck and Musk is flooded with nonsense theories, reminding us we are hopeless, helpless, anxious, depressed, ironic, scared, apathetic, escapist, lonely, misguided, and jaded. I don't disagree with that. Liberals mock the hypocrisy of conservatives mock the hypocrisy of liberals, and our collective circumstances erode. The left shouts all cops are bastards, which assures they'll be hated by the police and public. It flies in the face of leftist theory. The public's distrust of government is at an all-time high, but so is the belief we're helpless to do anything about it. Yeah. And with all this, the rise of apocalyptic messaging. Climate change will kill us. COVID will kill us. Vaccines will kill us. AI will kill us. No matter the bubbles we ascribe to, we're bombed with existential crises and no solutions. We've seen a surge in apocalyptic film, literature, and video games. Tells us there's no way out. If you go to the, zombies tell us the public is our enemy. If you go to the nearest convenience store, you can buy a can of water called Liquid Death. Yeah, you can. Like, what's the deal? This is our rotten farce. For our entire lives, we've been flooded with media disregard. So serious, where the American dream was dead, where the public was fully divided against itself, where I believe we were powerless to do anything about worshipping circumstances. It's also they can organize an unprecedented rug pull on the entire populace. We are in a totalitarian doomsday cult. Okay. Why are they doing this? Climate change and resource extraction would eventually catch up. Okay, well, you lost me here, buddy. Things escalated in 88 when George H.W. Bush got the White House. Okay. And then he talks about Dr. Strangelove because he was a Why is Stanley Kubrick's comedy about Mad that because Stanley Kubrick was a cocky secret fascist who was letting us stop worrying and love the bomb? Why did he make A Clockwork Orange? So we rejoice at the ultra violence designed to desensitize us to the horrors of the world. Why were the Manson family murders crawling with cover-ups and intelligence agents? Okay, that part's true, because MK Ultra had its fingerprints all over Charlie Manson. And make us believe hippies were psychopaths. Why did Walt Disney produce a fraudulent documentary that told us lemmings would follow us each other off cliffs? So we would believe it. Why did the Beatles tell us to fear the tax man, a scoffer of evolution, chase nonsense conspiracy theories, and that happiness is a warm gun? So we would believe it. Why did Easy Rider tell us the hippie movement was dead? So we would believe it. Why did Chinatown end with defeatism in the face of corruption? So we would believe it. Yeah, it's Chinatown, Jake. It's Chinatown. Why did George Orwell tell us of a hellish future of totalitarian control we are powerless to stop? So we believe it. Why did Wall Street tell us greed is good? Why did Do the Right Thing tell us we're all racially tribalized? Why did Simpsons creator Matt Groening make a comic strip called Life in Hell? So we believe it. And on and on and on and on and on. Okay, this is bad news. Okay, yeah, bad news. What's the lie? Blah, 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 blah. For the true history of America since World War II, see here. What the hell is this? Oh, okay, now he's got... Which then takes us to... Schizo post. More schizo posting. Okay, I'm already... The clock of the Bulletin of the American Scientist, the Atomic Scientist, fuck that. I am not if that's where he's going, they're bullshit anyway. You know, we're closer. They think we're closer now to doomsday than ever in history. We're closer to doomsday now than during the Cuban Missile Crisis, than during the height of the Cold War. Fuck the doomsday clock. So, holy shit, homie, that's what you did? That's what you blew your wad on? Sad. Sad, sad, sad. Hold on. Sad! Pathetic! That was bad. Yes, the counters aren't real, sorry. Hubbleston says they both wish they were South Park. Funny thing is, you know, Trey Parker and Stone liked the early Simpsons. Family Guy's had some great episodes, but not to the same level. Conan O'Brien wrote the monorail episode. Yes. Yes, it did. Amateur Iconoclast says Monorail was a parody of Music Man. I did not know that, but that makes sense when you think about it in hindsight. Embiggen became a real word after that episode. Yes, that guy overdosed it on a red pill. Like he bit into it and it was too much for him. It's like, how? I mean, dude, like I agree with everything you've just told me. Like you're just like, I gotta go kill myself. It's like, that's it. That's it. Yeah, bro is kind of soft. Bro is kind of soft. How old is this guy? It looks like he's in his 30s. Remember when that fish had 3 eyes? You mean Blinky? Clearly a nod to the Illuminati. Yes. When I'm not looking at chat, it's hard to tell if I'm reading the manifesto or reading random chats. I don't know if that's a good thing. Yes, and that's the thing. 1988 is a dream compared to 2024. It's like the meme says, the world you knew is gone. Now, I think that's that could be interpreted in many ways. That meme, the world you grew up in is gone. The past is always gone. But I think it's more of the world we grew up in of the just and righteous being in charge and all of the goodness is gone. I agree with that. I agree with that interpretation. This guy's 30 years late. Yeah. This guy was a Bernie bro. That wouldn't surprise me. Yes. So a guy set himself on fire for centrism. Yes. Sitch and Adam are going to love that. This guy does not get Kubrick at all. Yeah. And that's the thing. You know, there's nothing about the creature from Jekyll Island. Nothing about the Federal Reserve. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I was not impressed. I was not impressed. So. Okay. Yeah, he didn't mention the 2 water chemicals. Yeah. Las Vegas is closing down their monorail. I didn't know they had one. Didn't know they had one. The dude was a guy from Plato's Cave. Yeah, that's actually interesting when you think about that. This guy had really bad low T. Well, tagged you in a burning video on Twitter, and not a mention of 9/11. Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah. And then well, Kitchen Knife says there's a case in Oklahoma. You're saying 4 people have been arrested and charged for double murder. They're a member of a cult called God's Misfits. Oklahoma. Sounds like something that's like a Rob Zombie movie. Like get stabbed up by some people calling themselves God's Misfits. Let's see here. What is this stuff? Oh, wow. The FBI raided the Dalton City Hall out in Illinois where Tiffany Henry, the super mayor. Wow. Okay. Well, that's not looking good for her. And then Julio is saying Wisconsin using Denny also seems unconstitutional. I think the Supreme Court has said it is. Have I read into that too much? I think it's wrong that the idea you have to get court. So a Denny motion is something they have to use in Wisconsin. So basically, for a Denny motion, and you want to introduce like a third party issue of guilt, you have to show like it could have been someone else. You have to show they had the motive, you have to show they had the opportunity, and you have to present evidence. So yes, I think it's highly you shouldn't force the defense to do that. I mean, Wisconsin has a lot of things I don't like. I don't like the fact you can then infer not retreating when they don't have a duty to retreat. I don't like the fact that the prosecutor has to agree to a bench trial. Yeah, there's a lot of problems in Wisconsin. But yes, Julie, I think it's unconstitutional, but a lot of states do shit that's unconstitutional at the end of the day. Eric Fulham says, yes, so Max, how do you feel about immolating yourself? Nah! Yes, pretty much what would happen. So yeah, he's just a Twitter bro. Along here says, Simpsons used to be cool, huge fall from grace. And I guess Mama's right, TV will rot your brain, yes. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me the politics I desire. Ooh. Yes. Yep. Oh. Yes, they busted her second in command for bankruptcy fraud. No, it's like the FBI's there right now raiding the offices. Looks like. So. Tiffany's fucked. She fucked up the ass. You know, she's going to go to prison and she's going to be in blackberry molasses out someone's asses before she knows it. Ken says, apparently in the Young Thug trial, the judge allowed a Daubert hearing about a scientific expert in front of the jury. That's probably a mistrial right there. That's going to be, that's a massive issue. I didn't hear about that, but that's fucking insane. If there's anything on Twitter, we'll take a look at it later. So. Yeah, guys, we're all caught up on things here. So, yeah, it's be careful about the jurors. They will pick moronic things to screw you over with. I told you fellas that judge was a moron. Yeah. Well, looks like it. All right, guys. So we are all done. We are all caught up. Thanks for you for sticking around. Looks like George Kelly is set for Monday morning. And I still think hung jury. Starting at 8 and a little bit afterwards, I'll be joining Jeff on his Fuck It Friday stream. Be hanging out with him. And I'm not sure after that, later tonight, I'm not sure what we're going to do. We might hang out. Don't know, just be some bros being bros. Tomorrow, we've got no trials to catch up on. We're all done. So I don't know what we're going to do. If we do anything Saturday, it's going to be Saturday like late at night because I'm going to be out probably till around 11 o'clock midnight doing things. And then if I get back, it'll probably be like around midnight, 1 o'clock. If you guys are up, we'll do something, hang out, have fun. But if that's the case, I'll let you guys know early Saturday afternoon what the plan's going to be. So, and after that, we'll be watching the F1 race. As far as Sunday, I don't know. We're going to do something Sunday. I got to find something. We'll be doing something Sunday. Sunday fun day. We'll figure something out. Well, there's more interesting trials. Trust me, Robert. There are more trials. There are a lot of trials already. Don't worry. There's a bunch. I've got a couple trials like in the back in our queue I can load up. So don't worry about that. And I'm going to also try to run over to Nick Starro too for a little bit and see what happens. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Take care, everybody, and have a great night.